Hi everyone, guess who's here with me today? I am proud to introduce the president of Israel Diamond, Adele.
That might look like a filming for the Beauty and the Beast, as you can see the difference. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm sure you didn't bring me here to entertain. You had something on your mind.
Yes, because we're behind these cases every day.
Yes.
And we get questions from the public, and some of them have questions that I think you might be able to answer.
I'll be more than happy to do so.
The first question we get all the time, do lab-grown diamonds hold value?
And are you alluding to the fact that the natural diamonds, they do hold their value, and with a questioning if the lab do hold their value?
I think that is the question, yes.
If diamonds are an investment, wouldn't you think that Charles Schwab's, Fidelity, JP Morgan will issue and sell diamond stock? Have you ever seen him ever selling a stock?
No.
When did it become a jewelry store listed as an investment centers, which they will tell the public normally it's a great investment?
Right.
Can you imagine if JP Morgan and the Fidelity and Charles Schwab's have a case in their offices for their investment? They cannot sell you a ring? I don't understand why would the jewelry store act like a Charles Schwab's or Fidelity. It's not an investment. Holding value is just a myth, and this needs to be settled once and for all. The only value a diamond ring will hold is the value of the relationship that was intended for from the beginning.
Right. So if you watched our other videos, I have another question for you.
Okay.
I've heard you mention before how to buy like a jeweler. Give us some clarification on that.
The average person walking to a typical retail store, and it starts like with a handshake, hello, and a credit application. That's normally what you see. The industry, from its beginning, adapted something called 300% markup. And there's a historical background for that. I'm not going to go into it. You can research that. But the average consumer understands that jewelry is marked up. That's why when you see guys walking to a jewelry store, they start to sweat before they cross the threshold of the door. Because inherently, their grandfather and their father get slaughtered financially at one point by a jewelry store. So genetically they inherit that fear, and I don't blame them.
And we see it here a lot
We see
too,
it.
when they come in and they're kind of afraid.
Right, as you can see, that's why we mark our cases with the price up front,
Right.
in the store and online. So
Right.
before you walk in, you're gonna know exactly what's gonna cost. Back to the jewelry stores. We spoke about when they push it or talk about it as such an investment. I've always said, when a client tell me, I have a friend in the jewelry store, B, jewelry store C, or one of my father's friend, and he promised to give me a good deal. And he really gonna give us a good deal. I've always said, no problem, that's a great thing to do. Very simple. Ask that particular jeweler, when he give you the final price on that rare diamond that you're buying from the friend of jeweler, if he will sign a small paragraph, it's not that long really as far as the content, just one particular paragraph that state the following: I will buy that stone that you're telling me such a great price and a great investment,
Right.
on one condition. I can come back to your store at any given time of my choosing as a consumer and following the promises that you have made, that this is a great investment and it's a great price and there will be no other person can beat that price. I can come back to your store and you will pay me half what I've paid you today when I bought it. Good luck finding a retail jeweler who will sign that agreement.
Have we ever seen one?
I sent 17 documents. I haven't seen one back yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
That is reality. Until the day we will have a trading platform, look like gold, where the prices could be published and transparent to the consumer, where they can see what is the value of that gold stock. Then you know exactly when you pay for gold as an investment. There is no such thing for diamond established yet. So the word investment should be taken out of your vocabulary.
Adele, can you tell me why we never have sales or specials?
So you're asking me, how come we never lie to anyone?
Pretty much.
Because it's unethical and it's not the truth.
That's right.
There's no such thing as 30, 40, 50% off on real value. If I walk into a Costco or a grocery store and they have tomato on sale, the regular price of tomato, let's say $2, and I see them for 75 cents. Well, half of them more than likely are rotting and they want to get rid of them. That I can see. That makes sense to me. Would diamond rot?
Last time I checked, no.
Okay. Would gold disintegrate in the case? Why would you want to give me 40%?
How do they get to that sales to begin with?
So it's not the truth. So at Israel Diamond, we make X amount of percentage of profit to keep the doors open,
Right.
get the best product, squeeze the supplier, not the customer. And this is why Israel Diamond has a reach probably in 23 to 24 states we sell. I challenge any retailers in the state of Oklahoma to show me how many boxes they ship to clients out of state. There's a reason why people will call us from another state, because the difference is gigantic. We're not talking 100 and 200. We're talking 1,000 and 2,000 and $3,000. On a transaction, that's probably $5,000 difference. 40 years I've been doing this behind the case. I've heard it all, pretty much. The sale gimmicks that some of the stores deploy. Oh, this is one stone that's the only one left in our inventory, and by Saturday, and today is Friday, by Saturday will be the last one, and you better take advantage of it because the price is going to change. When people say this to me, I can understand if they're referring like to that's the only stone, if it's the Hope diamond, Elizabeth Taylor, diamond, or whoever that was. But there's no such thing that's the only stone left, because De Beer have thousands of stones, and the lab-grown industry have millions of stones now. It's not going to be the last one. And if that's the only one you have, you have a bad inventory managers. They don't know what they're doing. As far as how to price a diamond, now everything is published online. As long as you understand the principle, going from one store to another, some of these 4 or 5 different brand names are owned by the same mother company. So you're shopping between 5 hamburger joints and you're looking for a steak. It doesn't work. You need to go to the right place with the right information. The color, the clarity, the size, and the certificate. That is not that hard. Identify the stone that you want, Google it, and see how long it should cost. Suddenly the word sale and special becomes obsolete. You'll be laughing your hiney to the bank.
A question I have for you now. Why should someone buy a lab-grown diamond?
What was the issue for the last 25, 30 years that you and I witnessed when guys come in here trying to buy a nice diamond for their girl?
How expensive it was and how little of a stone you got for the money.
They would always wanna, one day, hopefully, honey, I will buy you a bigger diamond.
Right.
And that day never comes. So science and God and technology was able to create and produce an identical product. And thank God for the fierce competition among suppliers. Prices are been incredibly affordable. Any human being now can walk and buy a 1-carat diamond, or a 2-carat diamond, or a 3-carat diamond. Prior to that, less than 2% of the population will buy a 3-carat stone. Now we see anyone. What I'm trying to tell you, unless you're mad at your money now, I don't see the reason. Why do I want to spend a $20,000 on a 2-carat when I can buy $2,500 and get a 2-carat lab-grown with the highest possible grade I can buy?
So what would you say to someone that just is dead set on buying a natural?
I think a natural diamond supplier will kiss your feet, because as of last count, United States, over 50% of engagement rings sold last year were lab-grown diamond. That's why the natural diamond stock prices are going down. I grew up in the industry. I am loyal to the natural diamond. The problem, consumer have spoken. It is their choice. It is their money. They're not afraid now. They're not ashamed now to present whatever size stone they want to give. And they're not sweating financially to acquire something to make the girl happy or the partner happy. And that makes me happy.
I think that makes all of us happy.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye, everyone.